Hello, I'm on another mission this morning. I'm headed out to pick up another cargo trailer. I really like the big trailer, but there's times where I don't need to haul as much stuff as that thing can haul, and it kind of impedes my access in some areas, and just it's kind of a burden hauling that on a long trip. So I've got my Washington State bill of sale here for the seller. So in the shop, you briefly saw my Arctic Fox truck camper. That's why I have a cargo trailer, so that I can haul extra gear, motorcycle, mountain bike, and whatnot. That's what I've been using the big cargo trailer for the last few years. I used to have a small 6x12. I used it for a lot of other things, and those other activities kind of got to a point where I wanted a bigger trailer. So I sold the 6x12 and hadn't quite made up my mind yet on the size that I wanted. I was pretty much leaning towards a 7. Oh, my camera's falling over here. I pretty much dialed in maybe a 7x14, but I just sort of put that purchase off and didn't get around to it. And then the shows and stuff that I used to use the 6x12 for, those pretty much went away. I used to travel around to sportsman shows and RV shows and whatnot, and I gave that up. So then it got to where I don't even need another trailer. So I've been using the big one, the 8.5x20, primarily for camping trips where I take my dual sport motorcycle. And the last few years I really haven't used the rig much, so it got to where I didn't even really need another trailer. All I was using the truck camper for was go on trips where I had my dual sport motorcycle. Well, now I'm back in the mode where I want to start camping and traveling more, and some of those trips don't dictate the need to have the motorcycle, but there's a few other small things like mountain bike, lawn chairs, other miscellaneous things that you can't fit in a truck camper, just portable generator and whatnot. So I've been looking at a lot of trailers at dealers and online and Craigslist and whatnot, and stumbled across a little 6x10 used Wells Cargo, same size as I had many years ago, and I'm headed on my way into town to pick that up. It's a 2001. It's their tote wagon model. It's got a side door with rear barn doors. And I kind of waffled a lot trying to figure out, what do I want? Barn doors or rear ramp door? Finally I decided barn doors are better for what I'm using it for. Another thing about the Wells Cargos is they build almost all of their trailers with a 4-foot tongue when you're talking about a square-nosed trailer and not a V-nose. So many other trailer manufacturers build their trailers with a 32 to 38 inch tongue, and that's kind of short for towing behind a truck camper. You get into a sharp turn situation and you might bump the truck camper jacks or something into the side of the trailer, or the front wall of the trailer. And I never had that issue with my original Wells Cargo 6x12, which had a 4-foot tongue. So that's what turned me on to this little trailer, is the 4-foot tongue. It's got torsion axles. The person that bought it also must have ordered it with brakes. It's very rare to find a single axle factory trailer with brakes on it. Typically, any single axle trailer is not going to have brakes on it. So that's another plus. It also has a roof vent and 2 light fixtures inside. The one thing I don't really care for on it is it's gotten used really hard. It's in decent shape, but the interior needs a lot of freshening up on it. But that's not too big of a deal. I need some kind of a project to occupy my time this winter, so that'll be it. I've looked at it 3 times, I think, this week, and decided, yeah, I just need to sacrifice and go for a 6x10, and not worry about getting a bigger trailer right now. But I still think ideally a 7x12 would be really nice to have for non-motorcycling trips, although yeah, it's a little bit big and it would still work for motorcycle trips, but this one will do just fine. And if later on down the road I decide I want a bigger trailer, I can sell this one and should be able to get my money back, or maybe just a little bit more, and will then investigate bigger trailers at that point. If I were to only have one trailer, I would probably get a 7x16 or maybe a 7x14. One of the things about the 7x16 that I use, which was my brother's trailer, I use that for going to a couple of different shows and whatnot behind the truck camper. The 7x16 behind a long bed crew cab truck makes the entire rig long enough where when you pull into a parking lot, either the front of the truck or the back of the trailer is going to hang out when you pull all the way in, drive through, and take up 2 parking spots. And 7x16 just was kind of long for ease of maneuverability. Granted, it's a lot easier to maneuver than my 8.5x20, but I think a 7x14 would be an ideal size because you can drive around almost like the trailer's not even back there and not have to worry too much about clearance issues or parking like I described with the 7x16. And I had mentioned earlier that if I were to only have one trailer, it would be probably a 7x14 or 7x16. I love my 8.5x20. It works out really nice for doing motorcycle trips, and I can haul all kinds of gear, and it also can be used as a secondary workspace. I've set up a table and an office chair in there and use that as a little work area for doing computer work when I've been out on long trips back several years ago when I used to use it a little bit more. I've even set up a LCD projector and used it as a movie theater, big screen TV like, and I've added a stereo to it for audio for watching DVD movies through the LCD projector. So it's kind of really nice to have that as an extra space, and it basically becomes a mini garage when I'm out with my motorcycle. I can use that as my changing area for getting into and out of my bulky riding gear. So here's a quick walkthrough after I've hooked it up. Doing an operations check on the lights. Everything looks good. That looks like a new fender. It's a lot shinier than the other one, although it's been bumped on the front there. But this served me well for what I want it for. So I got the trailer in my garage. One of the things I like about my garage is it has an 8-foot door. So this trailer fit inside no problem at all. Let's take a quick overview of it. And as I can see, the seal around the door needs some repair. The last few miles of my drive home I got in the middle of a nasty downpour. It's got some D-rings in the floor. The previous owner installed those at some point after she bought it. Lots of wear on the floor, but it doesn't look like the floor has been perpetually wet like some of the trailers I've seen. It's got your typical 1/4-inch Luan plywood. roof vent. I know that roof vent needs to be replaced because it's got a hole in it. And there's a hole in the plywood. Not too bad a condition, other than these metal trim pieces have been really beat up bad from hauling stuff. Both corners are like that. Got one light there, and we have another light above the door. Previous trailers I've had a switch right there next to the door. This trailer does not have that, but that's one of the things I'll fix. And definitely want to get rid of this table. I have no idea what that was for. This lady used it for hauling arts and crafts supplies to shows that she did. And she left her tie downs in here. She didn't want to have anything to do with any of this stuff anymore. And at some point somebody has repainted the outside, just around the door, the steel framework. And let's go around to the front. Another thing nice about this model of Wells Cargo is the greasable door hinges. It's got easy lube Dexter axles, and notice there, kind of hard to see, but it has trailer brakes, which is very unusual for a 3,500 pound single axle trailer. And the other nice thing too, kind of hard to see, but we've got torsion axles